Welcome to the final video. Now that your integration is live and Quick Connect is handling follow-ups, it's time to turn your data into action. Referrizer's reporting tools show which ads and channels drive real customers, not just leads. Let's learn how to read these reports and make decisions from them. Click on Reports and then Pipeline. This report provides a complete overview of new leads, re-engaged contacts, conversions, and revenue for the selected period. It combines data from your integrations, UTM tagging, and pipeline stages. Use the date filter to select the period you want to analyze. The source filter lets you isolate leads from a particular UTM source. For example, select Zapier to filter all the leads from Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads, Typeform, and similar. Import will show the contacts you manually imported in Referrizer. Integrations, these are your contacts that came through your integrated CRM, and so on. Basically, filtering ensures you're comparing apples to apples. At the top, you'll see key metrics: total number of new leads plus re-engaged contacts, total new leads, re-engaged contacts, and revenue generated. A spike in re-engaged contacts may indicate that retargeting campaigns are working. Low revenue, despite high leads, might suggest you need to improve follow-up or your active offer. The first donut chart displays the total number of new leads plus re-engaged contacts, broken down per source. Identify your strongest source. Here's where your leads are coming from. If Zapier makes up most of the chart, like in this example, double check that your automations are set up correctly, because they're driving the bulk of the results. Compare your automation versus organic. Integrations also play a large role. Integrations like POW or MindBody also play a big role, so make sure those connections are active and error-free. If you see a small slice like offers at just 1%, ask yourself whether to refine that promotion or pause it altogether. Check data quality. If a single source dominates, ensure it's not just quantity, but also quality. Do these leads convert later in the pipeline? And finally, don't just focus on the biggest slice. Track whether those leads are converting down the pipeline. The best practice here: put more budget into sources that bring revenue, not just raw leads, and avoid depending too heavily on a single channel. The second donut chart displays the relationship between newly registered leads and re-engaged contacts. Here are the best practices. Strong re-engagement means there's a healthy funnel. This chart tells you how balanced your funnel is between brand new leads and existing contacts coming back. A healthy re-engagement rate, around 30 to 40% or more, shows your follow-up and nurture campaigns are paying off. Keep investing here. It's usually cheaper than acquiring new leads. If re-engaged contacts are too low, it's time to review your retargeting ads, nurture emails, or SMS campaigns. On the other hand, if re-engaged contacts are very high but new leads are lagging, that's a sign your acquisition campaigns from Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads, etc. need more attention. Let's dive into UTM campaign performance. The first table breaks down each UTM campaign by leads, bookings, book rate, visits, visit rate, memberships, member conversion rate, and revenue. When looking at this report, the key is to follow the funnel all the way through. Don't stop at lead counts. Trace how those leads move into bookings, visits, memberships, and finally, revenue. Watch for drop-offs. If leads are coming in but not booking, focus on your follow-up. If bookings are strong but visits are low, refine your reminders or scheduling process. And if visits don't convert into memberships, it's time to work on in-person sales or your offers. Always prioritize ROI. Campaigns with lots of leads but no revenue should be paused or reworked. The real winners are campaigns that produce memberships and long-term customers. Finally, compare different campaign types. Corporate offers, special promotions, or retargeting campaigns will each perform differently. This table helps you decide where to allocate more budget and where to reduce it. By focusing on the full funnel and prioritizing revenue, you'll make smarter marketing decisions that actually grow your business. Next, evaluate performance by UTM source. Compare sources. Look at leads, bookings, and revenue to see which channel brings better customers. First, don't look at lead volume in isolation. Sources that bring fewer leads can still be more valuable if they generate bookings, memberships, and revenue. The goal isn't just more leads, it's better leads. Use book rate to compare source quality. A low book rate usually points to weaker targeting or slower follow-up, while a higher book rate indicates a well-matched audience and effective messaging. Visit rate highlights how reliable each source is at delivering people who actually show up. If a source looks good on paper but has poor attendance, it may be overpromising or attracting the wrong type of lead. Finally, prioritize sources that consistently generate memberships and revenue. Even if the number looks small, high-value sources can have a bigger impact on long-term growth than channels that flood you with low-quality leads. The key takeaway here: use the UTM source report to identify your most reliable channels and shift your budget towards the platform that produce real customers, not just contacts. The next chart breaks down results by Referrizer sources, meaning the different ways contacts are captured directly inside the platform. Examples include imports, integrations like MindBody, Zapier automations, the website widget, and even special offers. The same principles we discussed earlier apply here. Follow the funnel from leads to revenue. But what makes this chart unique is that it shows you how well each Referrizer source is contributing to your pipeline. For example, integrations usually represent synced data from outside systems, like your booking software. These leads are often high quality because they're tied to real customer activity. Zapier, on the other hand, doesn't generate leads on its own. It forwards leads from your paid ads like Facebook, Instagram, or Google ads directly into Referrizer. If you see a lot of leads from Zapier but very few bookings or memberships, that's a sign to review your ad targeting or your follow-up process, since the automation itself is only passing those leads along. The website widget and contact forms tell you how effectively your own site is capturing interest. A low number here could mean you need to improve your website's call to action or visibility. And don't overlook offers. Even though they might bring in fewer leads, they often convert at a higher rate, which makes them great for running targeted promotions. Use this chart to see which Referrizer built sources are pulling their weight. It helps you balance your strategy between external integrations, automations, and the built-in lead capture tools inside Referrizer. By understanding which sources deliver real numbers and revenue, you'll know where to optimize your setup and where to push harder to maximize results. The following two charts work together to show you the health of your pipeline. The bar chart tells you how many contacts are sitting in each stage, while the table shows how long on average they're staying there. The goal is to quickly see whether leads are flowing smoothly or piling up in the wrong places. If one stage has unusually high numbers compared to the rest, that's often a bottleneck, making the follow-up isn't strong enough or the next step isn't clear to the lead. On the other hand, if you notice a sharp drop-off between stages, that's a sign to improve the handoff. Refine your communication, reminders, or offers to keep leads moving forward. Now look at the average days in the status. If a stage that should be quick is taking weeks, it's a clear sign of a slowdown. Compare fast-moving stages with slow ones. Quick movement means your process is working, while slow stages highlight areas where communication or urgency may be missing. Also, pay attention to outcomes at the end of the funnel. Stages that represent successful conversions are your benchmark for what's working well, while stages that represent lost or inactive leads help you measure lead quality and targeting. Don't just measure how many leads you have. Measure where they are and how fast they're moving. Volume plus speed gives you a complete picture of your pipeline and helps you identify exactly where to improve. The next chart shows newly registered leads grouped by the tags you've assigned in your automations. Tags are labels you create in Referrizer and connect in Zapier to organize leads by campaign, offer, or promotion. The best practice here is to use tags for tracking the performance of individual campaigns. Since multiple contacts can share the same tag, you can quickly see how many leads each campaign generated and what revenue those leads produced. This is especially useful when you're running several offers or ads at the same time. By comparing tags, you'll know which promotions are worth scaling and which ones should be adjusted or paused. If a particular offer tag yields high value, consider running similar offers or retargeting those leads. Another best practice is consistency. Make sure your tags follow a clear naming convention. For example, including the campaign type and date. This keeps your reporting clean and makes it easier to analyze results over time. The key takeaway: tags turn your raw leads into organized, trackable data. Use this chart to connect specific campaigns to actual revenue, and you'll have a clear answer when clients ask which promotion is really working. The last table lists the individual details of newly generated leads, including their contact information, the source they came from, their current status in the pipeline, and any purchase revenue they've generated. While the other charts give you trends and summaries, this view is useful for looking at leads one by one. It's helpful when you want to verify data, check if leads are being tagged correctly, or review the progress of a specific contact. In short, think of this table as your audit view. It's where you can dig into the raw details behind the numbers in your reports. The Quick Connect call report tracks what happens after a new lead claims an offer. It shows how many calls were initiated, how many were answered, and how many ultimately converted into visits. Here's how to use it effectively. Calls initiated shows the total number of outbound attempts Quick Connect made to reach new leads. Best practice is to monitor this number in relation to your lead volume. If calls initiated seem much lower than expected, check whether your working hours are too restrictive or if campaigns aren't triggering Quick Connect properly. On the other hand, if you see a healthy number of calls being initiated, but not leading to connections or conversions, that's a sign to focus on the next steps: staff responsiveness, call scripts, or lead quality. In short, use this metric to confirm that Quick Connect is firing as expected for every new lead, and to spot gaps between calls being attempted and actual conversations taking place. Answered by business tracks when your staff picks up the call. If this number is low, the reason might be that your staff aren't consistently responding to Quick Connect, either not answering the forwarded call or hanging up before the lead is connected. The best practice here is to make sure your team understands how Quick Connect works and is trained to treat these calls as high priority. Ensure calls are routed to the right staff members. Reinforce the importance of answering quickly and provide call handling guidelines so they know what to expect when Quick Connect rings. Improving staff response rates directly increases the chance of reaching leads while they're still interested. Answered by contact shows how many leads actually picked up when Quick Connect tried to reach them. If this number is low, it often means your leads aren't available or expecting the call. The best practice here is to test different types of offers and messaging. The more compelling the offer, the more likely leads are to stay attentive and answer the phone. Another recommendation is to review your lead sources. If certain campaigns bring in contacts who rarely answer, it may be a sign of low quality leads or incorrect phone numbers. Filtering out weak sources helps improve your overall connection rate. Converted shows how many of the answered calls actually turned into visits or purchases. This is the most important metric because it tells you whether your team is turning conversations into real business outcomes. If conversion numbers are low, focus on improving what happens during the call. Best practices include refining your call scripts, training staff to handle objections, and making sure the offer being presented is clear and compelling. It also helps to track patterns. For example, do certain offers or campaigns consistently convert better than others? Use that insight to double down on what works and adjust the weaker ones. The key takeaway: high conversion rates means Quick Connect isn't just reaching leads, it's creating paying customers. And that's the ultimate goal. Quick Connect attempts each lead up to 3 times, so use this report to see whether these retries are paying off. Quick Connect is designed to close the gap between interest and action. Use this report to fine-tune your calling strategy, making sure you're reaching leads at the right time, answering calls promptly, and guiding conversations towards conversion. That's how to leverage data in Referrizer, with automated lead capture via Zapier, immediate follow-up through Quick Connect, and detailed reporting. You have everything you need to optimize campaigns and prove ROI to your clients.